How to Get a College Football Scholarship, a series where we evaluate active high school football players, break down their game film, let them know what division they have the best chance of earning a scholarship in, and most importantly, what they need to do to get to the next level. And joining me today is our head coach here at Next Play, Brian Overton, who has over 15 years of Division I recruiting experience. So Brian, who do we got today?
Well, we got a 2028 young offensive lineman, plays guard. As you can, I got him, size wise, I've got him 6'2", 6'3", probably 290 pounds, big young kid. The first thing that pops off the tape, you know what I mean, is the size. But this kid in particular is blocking some pretty big defensive linemen, he plays against, which helps tremendously, gauge that. And so you can tell he's got big legs, he's got a solid bottom half, good frame on him. Keep in mind now he's a really, really young player, but that stands out here on the first two plays. Okay,
That's a true freshman.
Yeah,
High
true
school and
freshman.
varsity.
Yeah, and you're gonna see as you go along here, you're gonna see the athletic ability start to stand out. So he's playing guard, guys. What we're looking for is power, movement. Can he bend? Is he stiff in his stance? You get to see his first little pull and run right there, which is, guys, this is pretty darn good for a young player right here. This skip pull right here, what I mean by skip pull, see how he skips behind the center and gets vertical on this guy?
Yeah.
It shows a little nastiness there at the end. Didn't see that as much as I wanted to. I talked about that on the evaluation, and I'll show you some plays here in a second, that I'm talking about. But he does show that he's at least willing to get after it a little bit. You know what I mean? Even on this play here, kind of driving the guy a little bit till he disengages.
But that wasn't a small guy either. That
No,
guy looked
he's
like he was
blocking some really big dudes. You'll see as we go along in the tape here, which is really good tape, for a young guy to see that. But as you can see, the other thing, guys, when we're talking about size, and this comes up all the time, when we're talking about offensive and defensive linemen. But watch, the other thing coaches watch when you're trying to calculate size, and especially from a young player like this kid, like a freshman or a sophomore or something like that, is when does he swallow up this guy? You know what I mean? That he's blocking. And what I mean by swallowing him up, you don't always have to knock him down, but can you cover him up? You know what I mean? All you got to do is cover him up. He's covering this guy up. Like if you're the running back, you can hardly see. He's covering this guy up. You know what I mean?
So big dude right there. He's covering him.
Yeah. So if you can cover him up, at that young age, and that's a decent sized kid that he's blocking there, and you'll see some more where that's a big man lined up in front of him right here. Okay, both of those guys. Right. I don't know what grade this kid's in, but he's a big dude. Okay, so you're going to get to see him come out of his hips a little bit right here. Pad level's too high right there. We talked about that on the eval. But again, as the tape goes, you get to see the athleticism, all right? You do get to see some power, at times, that stands out a little bit. And you get to see a little bit of nastiness, you know what I mean? And, obviously in the detailed evaluation, we get in depth about that. But we also had him, move some plays around here that I want to get to and show you. And it's prevalent because I'm going to skip all the way down here, guys, to 429, the last play on this tape. Okay, and I had him move this up. And the reason is he's playing right guard here. All right, you see him come off, all right? The reason I had him move this up, guys, because this is the only play on there that he really, really finishes the guy. And he shows some nastiness and some want to. All right, he has the guy blocked on the very first, right out of the gate, right? But this is the one play on his tape where he shows, yes, in there. He's got some nastiness in there, and he wants to drive you into the ground. And then he shows a little bit of his personality that, he's having fun playing the game. But we had him move that up to the first play because it shows some nastiness, and he didn't have a lot of that on there. Okay? And the other, another play we had him move up here at 154. Play here, we had him move up at 154. This is a big man he's blocking. This is one of his better plays where he comes out of his hips. All right, when I say comes out of his hips as an offensive lineman, watch how good his pad level is compared to some of the plays you've already seen. Watch how much better his pad level is. That's a big man now. He's getting his hat under his hat, right? And he's coming out of his hips where his power is, and he drives this big guy off the ball. He resets the line of scrimmage is what you're looking for as an offensive lineman. See that? The line is reset, guys. He's 2.5, 3 yards downfield, and that is a big man. Okay, so you're looking to see if they can reset the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want everybody to understand what I'm saying when I say come out of his hips, playing with good pad level. you know, this is a really good one. So I had him put this as the number 2 play on there because it translates to college football. And they're guys, at a young player like this, you're just looking to see if it's in there. Is it in there somewhere already? You know what I mean? That'll get you encouraged and excited about the kid. And those 2 plays right there will. And then this last one I had here at 310, I had him move to the 3rd play because it's a skip pull. And again, look at that guy. Look at this guy right here. Look at the size of this kid. Okay? And this is a skip pull again where he's skipping out behind the center. That's what a skip pull is. All right, there's a couple skips, and then he's pulling down the line of scrimmage. Boom! See how he struck him? With good pad, now it wasn't great pad level, you know, it was good pad level, and we're going to work on that, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But that is a big man coming down the line of scrimmage. That is a good pull for a young 2028 offensive lineman. So those are 3 plays that I had him move up to the beginning of his tape. And just real quick, I want to give you an example of some I had him take out. So it's not always about moving them around. Sometimes it's about trimming the fat, right? And here he is here. He's pulling out here on this screen, whiff, and whiff, okay? Take it out. You got too many other good plays in there. That's a play that can come out. And then the last one is this one right here, okay? I told him I thought it might have been his worst play, okay? Same guy, same big guy. Not a lot of action there, guys, right? Not a lot of want to, not a lot of oomph. You know what I mean? And I told him on the evaluation, on this cutoff block, I don't care if the ball is behind you or not. You need to be running your feet and driving that guy because you don't know where the ball is. The ball could have cut back behind you, you know?
Yeah. And I just want everyone listening to keep in mind, like, this is somebody who's evaluated tens of thousands of highlight videos at the Division I level for 15 years. If you're the parent of a high school football player who wants to earn a college football scholarship and your son is struggling with marketing himself or confidently communicating with college coaches, I wrote this book specifically for you. Inside it, I share exactly how I earned a Division I football scholarship in the SEC at just 5'7" and 150 pounds, without going to camps, being ranked, and without any connections. And right now, I'd like to give you a copy completely free. All I ask is that you just cover shipping. I'll drop a link in the description below so you can grab your copy before we run out. This is what the coach is looking for, right? And he just said, hey, we rearranged plays in a specific order. Now, when we do a professional evaluation for a player, this isn't it, right? We send them very specific stuff. We move specific plays. We tell them what they need to do, what divisions, all of that. It's way more in depth, but I want you to get an idea of, like, this is how a real Division I coach, not someone trying to give you stars or rankings. So Brian, just in short, like, what divisions, you know, obviously he's a freshman.
Yeah.
What division should he be targeting on his outreach in trying to get a scholarship at this point?
Yeah, because of his size and everything I just talked about on here, I feel really comfortable about Division II FCS for this kid because of his age and his size and the stuff. He put just enough out there where that's going to be a feasible target for him as a sophomore.
And if he gets his tape right, because when he starts sending his tape to coaches, and he pitches himself properly and they know his age and he takes out the trash and puts the good stuff in the beginning, he should be communicating with a lot of coaches and probably get some offers under his belt this summer.
Yeah, I feel good. I feel good about Division II FCS, and don't mess around and let him slide inside and have some clips of him snapping that ball, and then it's going to be on. So.
Yeah, he's got to do that for sure.
I mean, then it's going to take off if he gets better. And what he needs to do, I think, you know, to get better, he's got a lot. He's a young player, man, so he's got a ton he can get better. He needs to play with better pad level, right? He needs to play with better effort all the time. I just finished with that last clip. I hated to finish with a bad one, but he's got to play with effort all the time. He's got to play with the nastiness that he had on the last play of his tape that I had to move to the front because it was one of the better ones. He's got to play with more nastiness on a regular basis because he shows us in there, right? He's got to work on his flexibility, right? So he can play with better pad level. You know, he's got to do all those things. So he's got plenty of stuff he needs to work on. You know, to get better. Now, if he does all those things and he continues to get bigger and stronger, you know, this kid has got a ridiculously high ceiling, I think, you know, going forward.
I love it. Okay, cool. Well, listen, if you got value from this video, you know, consider subscribing, hit the bell notification if you'd like to see if your son meets the criteria for a professional evaluations where we do it much more in depth. Get your son on the right path, because here's the bottom line. If you're doing outreach or your son's considering doing outreach, or he knows he should be. It could be just because he's concerned about targeting the wrong schools. So a professional evaluation, whether you do it with us or someone else, I don't care, but it's really important that it does 3 things. 1, it helps you reorder your plays. 2, it makes sure you're targeting the right divisions, because if you're not, you're going to be in a world of hurt. And 3, it tells you exactly what you need to show on film so that you can fix that over the course of the summer or improve upon that so you can show it on your film next year to get to the next level. So he can get to that G5 and then get to that FBS level, because there's a lot of opportunity, and that could be for your son as well. So I'll leave a link in the description below so you can see if your son meets the criteria for us to do a professional evaluation. Otherwise, we appreciate you being here, and definitely consider subscribing. We post videos every single week, and 3 or 4 of them to help you along the recruiting process. If not, we look forward to seeing you on the next one.